A recent American Journal of Public Health report estimates that 48,000 women were raped in the Democratic Republic of Congo between 2006 and 2007, a figure 26 times higher than that estimated by the United Nations. Reports of rape continue, and also the severing of their reproductive organs. Those are labeled as ruined. This tragedy is being acted out in a Pulitzer-winning prize around the country, including right here in Washington. This scene, women and soldiers laughing, singing, dancing together, gives the impression that these are fun times, but that's far from true. As the song goes, they've come here to forget. The place is a brothel, and these women, victims of rape, are working here as prostitutes to escape death and more rape. The men, some of them rapists, are also here seeking temporary peace from their rivals. The play is written by Ndimyake and is based on true accounts of Congolese women she met in Uganda in 2004 who were fleeing armed conflict. This interview was conducted last year.
At first, when I went there, wanted to tell a much more general story of war. And what I discovered once I began interviewing women, that there was a story that's very specific to what happens to women.
Ndimyake centers the play around one of the women she interviewed.
Well, Ruin is the story of a woman named Mama Nadi who runs a brothel in the Atari rainforest in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And she's a woman who both shelters and exploits women. She's a survivor, a really tough individual who's figured out a way to move through this intractable war, but not without sort of moral consequences.
I know it hurts, because it smells like the rot of meat. So wash good.
Ruined, winner of a Pulitzer Prize for drama, tells the story of ordinary women in the Congo whose lives are forever changed. Sophie was heading to university when she was raped, ruined, and disowned by her family. Josephine, the daughter of a chief, is reduced to a prostitute after also being raped and then abandoned by her family.
I miss my family, my husband, my baby.
Stop it. Salima, a married woman, was raped and abandoned and then witnessed her daughter stomped to death by a soldier because she was crying.
Oh, please, let me say my baby's name, Beatrice. I want to go home.
While Mama Nadi appears tough and in control, she's vulnerable and walks a fine line between the rival rebel groups who patronize her brothel.
You will hear my name quite a bit from now on.
Rebels in the Congo rape and ruin women as a warning to their rivals. Here, Commander Oshebenga warns Mama Nadi against helping his rival, Commander Kisembe.
He will burn your crops, steal your women, and make slaves of your men, all in the name of peace and reconciliation. Don't believe him.
While sobering, the play depicts Congolese women as resilient and undefeated, including Mama Nadi, whose tough persona covers a pain deeper than many can imagine. Well, we're pleased to welcome two of the play's 17 cast membership. Donnetta Lavinia Grace plays Salima, and Babatunde Olusanmokun plays Commander Oshebenga. We really want to welcome you to the show. I know you have a performance tonight, so it's really good of you to come and join us today.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Now, talking to Ndimyake, she says that the aim, why she decided to do this play, because she wanted to raise awareness. Do you see that happening now that you are on stage?
Well, we know that every night there's the possibility of someone important being in the audience. So we hope very much that we can have awareness. We have talkbacks after each of a lot of the performances that we have. People have been really responding to those, and we've been getting the word out with the play, as well as Friends of the Congo has been moderating some of the talkbacks. So we've been getting awareness out there.
Now, you both play these very convincing roles, you as a victim of rape and having witnessed your child being killed, and Babs, you as the rebel, these perpetrators of this violence. How are you able to channel that? You haven't been to the Congo, you're not a soldier, clearly,
yeah.
But you do it so well. How are you able to do that mentally?
You know, I've read about these guys. Actually, my character, Commander Oshebenga, represents the government. But I've read about these types of men
for the last, I don't know, it feels like 15, 20 years now, you know, since the wars in Liberia, you know, Charles Taylor and, you know, Joseph Kony and all those guys. And I always thought what moved them, you know, and it's pretty simple. You know, for me, I broke it down to a simple thing: power. You know, power, regardless of whatever I have to do to get it and to maintain it. You know, and sometimes we try and overanalyze people in these situations, especially the perpetrators of these things, and especially the ones on top of it. You know, it's not about the land, it's not about the people, it's about them and what they want for themselves and for their friends. And I think most human beings can relate to that, you know, even if we don't use it negatively, but we all have it inside of us. And so for me, it wasn't easy to get into the character. It wasn't easy to say, you know, to go into the role at all, to even say yes to it, because the piece as a whole, I was in fear that it would be another piece that just sort of showed the ugliness of Africa without really showing the beauty, you know?
Now, I just want to turn over to you, Donnetta, for a quick while. Obviously, this is such a tough subject and a reality for so many women. Do you think that message is communicated? Obviously, you play your role very well, but somebody watching, can they really say this is real, it's happening to somebody?
You know what's interesting is the feedback that I get. People are very moved by, especially the monologue that happens in the second act, and when Salima tells her story. What was very compelling to me was a few performances past, a woman came up to me whose parents were Holocaust survivors. And she said to me that her father told these stories to her. So it resonates. It's an unfortunately familiar story of the brutality that happens around the world. People connect with that and understand that, and they take that with them. So it is something that people can see, and if they hear about the news stories, if they read about it, they get the facts. But to come and see the play, they actually feel the experience. And I think that it becomes a little bit more ingrained into their molecular structure because it's such a visceral play. And our director, Charles Randolph Wright, made this space very, very raw, so that we are able to explore these emotions in a big, broad way, and the audience is right there on top of the experience with us.
Are you personally affected? Do you get touched? Do you understand the pain that you're channeling? How has it changed you, if at all, Babs?
Oh God, it's, you know, somebody at one of the talkbacks, somebody mentioned something that had been in my head, because even as a perpetrator, you know, representing a perpetrator of these crimes, a lot of these men are also traumatized. You know, the people, at least the people under me, the guys that I send out to do that madness and commit those rapes and whatnot, these are guys that were young boys, you know? They were young boys that were taken from their homes when, you know, they were wee little boys, and they've been drug-induced, they've been, you know, manipulated into doing these things, and now they've become that, you know? And it's, in a way, they're trying to get out of a trap. You know, and I think generations are going to be affected now. You know, so it's a
generations being
thing.
Lost as well because of what they're doing to the women there, mutilating their bodies in such a way.
Well, the same question to you, Donnetta. Has it changed you at all in terms of how you appreciate that? You know, this is what's going on to somebody.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it was very difficult in the beginning, and it is to some extent right now, knowing what it is we're trying to communicate. It was hard for a lot of the cast members to get to sleep at night. One thing that I keep in mind when I go into performance is this most recent report is, on average, a rape a minute is happening. That's something that I cannot escape, and I cannot escape the story that Salima tells because it's based in truth.
5 women every 4 minutes.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
It's amazing.
So where do you go from here with this play? You've been playing it out. Obviously, it ends on the 5th of June. You're moving on. What happens after this bombshell that you've dropped through these powerful performances?
Wow. Yes, what happened? You know, I think the production will live in spirit because, you know, as you said, I believe you just said you're going to come and see it again. And I've spoken to people, you know, older white women who've seen the play in New York and have seen it twice.
Yeah.
Do you hope that it
You
will
know?
really lead to some change?
Oh
that
my
people
God,
will
yes.
now,
That's
besides just
been
being
the-
aware of it, become active to try to change
that
it?
was the
believe
hope
so.
with it being in DC, a
Yes.
place, a seed of power. Hopefully
Yes.
the right people come and see this play and
Yes.
then are forced to make change, because you can't, now that you know the truth, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
You have to act.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully what we're ingraining into people's subconscious or
And even
consciousness,
the
actually.
average person pushing the message out
Yeah.
and telling other people, this is, you know, people have written emails to me, listen, I left the play and I cried all the way home.
way, yeah.
I'm gonna talk to people.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find out what I can do. You know, people that are just leading their lives here and they have everything and they're realizing this madness is going on the other side of the world.
Well, it's a lot to talk about, but one thing I have to say, you guys memorize all this. It's all there for the audience to see. You don't refer to scripts. It's all coming from your head. I don't know how you retain it, but you do a great job.
It's usually
Thank
the
you.
easiest
And we-
part.
I know.
Well, thank you so much. You're very good at what
Thank
you do,
you.
and
Thank
we hope
you.
it will
Thank
lead
you
to some
for having
change.
us.